Imagine sitting on a flight departing from New York, heading straight for Los Angeles. Right before takeoff, the pilot adjusts the plane's heading by just 3 degrees. It's a tiny, unnoticeable shift, but keep flying that straight line and you'll end up in Tijuana, Mexico. The same math applies to your habits. A microscopic deviation feels insignificant today, but as those choices compound, they alter your final destination. This graph illustrates why most goals fail. Because our ancestors lived linear lives, we expect our progress to be a straight upward line. We put in a week of effort, and we expect visible results. But true biological change is exponential. It starts out slowly. When you start a new routine, you enter this gap known as the valley of disappointment. You put in effort, but because the curve is flat early on, results are often invisible. This is where most people quit. We are going to bypass that failure point. Grab a pen and a blank sheet of paper.
We will build a customized blueprint. This is for a specific goal you have struggled to achieve in the past. Relying on sheer motivation to push through resistance leads to failure. Motivation spikes and crashes. Understanding and exploiting this exponential math provides the only reliable path to long-term change. Step 1 is redefining your objective. Stop focusing on the outcome you want to achieve. Instead, define the specific identity of the person who would naturally achieve that outcome. Behavior change happens when actions are driven by the need to validate a newly adopted belief about yourself. If your goal is to run a marathon, you are relying on discipline. If you believe your core identity is a runner, your behaviors naturally align with that reality. On your paper, write down your new baseline identity using an I am a statement. Every time you perform your new habit, you are casting a vote for this specific identity. Now we enter step 1 of the biological habit loop, the cue. Triggers for your desired behavior must be glaringly obvious in your physical environment. Most habits are automatic, so you need a specific prompt to break your default pattern. Strip away vague promises. Below your identity statement, write down an implementation intention to bind your habit to a specific time and location. Write, I will read a book for 15 minutes at 6 a.m. in the spare bedroom. Alternatively, use habit stacking. Anchor your new habit directly onto the end of an existing deeply ingrained routine, such as brushing your teeth. Willpower is a finite resource. By intentionally manipulating your physical and chronological environment, you remove the burden of decision-making. The physical environment handles all the heavy lifting. This chart visualizes your dopamine levels during a task. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation. Notice that the spike occurs during the anticipation of a reward, not when you actually receive it. You can exploit this biological quirk using a framework called temptation bundling. You take an action you need to do and pair it directly with an action you want to do. If you want to watch a favorite show but need to exercise, bundle them. Establish a rule that you are only allowed to watch that specific show while walking on the treadmill. Add this to your blueprint. Write down your strict rule, declaring that you can only access your chosen guilty pleasure while performing your new habit. Linking a difficult task to an immediate dopamine release helps override the brain's default resistance. The hard task becomes the gateway to an immediate reward. Step 3 is the response. Human biology is wired to conserve energy and avoid friction. If there is resistance between you and a new behavior, your brain will actively avoid it. To bypass this, use the 2-minute rule. Scale down your goal into a micro version that requires nearly 0 effort to complete. Look at your blueprint. Cross out the ambitious habit you originally planned and replace it with a version that takes less than 120 seconds. Reading an hour a day becomes reading a single page. A massive gym routine becomes putting on your running shoes. You further reduce friction by priming your environment. Lay out your workout clothes and dumbbells the night before. When you wake up, the physical tools are waiting and the ritual has already begun. The initial goal of habit formation is not measurable progress. The objective is to anchor the new behavior into reality by requiring 0 effort. Step 4 is the reward. The rule of behavior change is that what is immediately rewarded is repeated, but good habits usually involve immediate strain, while the ultimate payoff remains months away. To bridge the valley of disappointment, you must manufacture an immediate sense of accomplishment upon completing the habit. Use a physical visual tracker.
Hang a calendar on your wall and give yourself a red X every time you complete your 2-minute task. The goal is simple: cross off the day and never break the chain. Life will interfere. You will have days where your routine falls apart. When night happens, apply the rule of habit survival. Never miss twice. Missing one day is an accident. Missing 2 consecutive days is the start of a new bad habit. On an exhausting day, perform a token version of your habit. If you cannot do a full workout, do 5 push-ups. Transformation is the byproduct of a relentless, uncompromising commitment to simply keeping the chain alive. Review your completed blueprint. You have replaced a vague wish with a biologically optimized, friction-free system. You have an identity, a clear cue, a craving, a 2-minute action, and a reward system. This system utilizes the mathematical power of consistency. Your only requirement now is to get just 1% better every single day. This compounding chart demonstrates the result of that 1% mark. The daily improvement remains invisible for months, but at the end of a year, the math forces the line to hook aggressively upward, making you 37 times better than when you started. Commit to your new system. Comment your specific 2-minute habit below to put it on record. And for more strategic mental models, subscribe to the channel. Success is the natural byproduct of tiny, automated daily actions. Follow the blueprint, protect your daily system, and let the math do the work.